again and welcome to the Sports Box, where the only opinion that matters, still right here. I am Mike Galetta, aka Hamilton Mike, except no imitations, at the Sports Box. Brian, the Ranger Retard, is on vacation. Today we pick up the pace and go into Friday with our Fan Friday session, where we talk to the fans and answer some questions about fantasy and some different things to that effect. Today's first question comes from Matt in Mullica. Matt asked the question, is it time to sell on Jameis Winston? You know what, being a Buccaneers fan, I'd love to say no, but I think this year is gone for Jameis Winston. He is struggling mightily. Although the schedule eases up near the end of the year, maybe like mid-season they start to run into some teams with, you know, some passing defenses that aren't that good. Jameis is struggling this year. He's really trying to find his way, and I know he did throw 4 interceptions against Arizona, but you shouldn't, in his second year of a guy of his caliber and his talent, he shouldn't be making mistakes like this. So if you can sell Jameis Winston right now for a good price, I would sell if you have a good backup quarterback. I would definitely do that. And that's coming from a Bucs fan, too. Ron from Adco writes in and says, I was offered Melvin Gordon and Blake Bortles for DeMarco Murray and Andy Dalton. Should I pull the trigger? Well, you know what? Blake Bortles is going to take a step back from Andy Dalton. But in the same sense, I think Melvin Gordon and DeMarco Murray are probably on the same page right now. So I probably wouldn't do that deal. I'd probably hold on to Andy Dalton and DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray's having a great year. Probably a top 5 running back this year in fantasy. Melvin Gordon is a stud. And by all accounts, the Chargers, as bad as they've been playing or snake bit as they've been getting, he's playing well. But I don't think the Blake Bortles, Andy Dalton thing is an even trade. Andy Dalton, though he's been struggling, he's played some good talent. So you can't fault him for that. He's still up there in yards for a quarterback, and he still gets a lot of balls thrown to A.J. Green and the cast he has. I wouldn't do the deal. I'd stand pat and keep DeMarco Murray and Andy Dalton. Mark from Haverford says, Frank Gore or Jordan Howard start, or Marvin Jones, Terrell Pryor. Well, let's go one at a time. Frank Gore and Jordan Howard. I think I might go with Frank Gore, believe it or not. He's getting a little more at the goal line, and he's actually had decent games as of late. Jordan Howard, good player, probably take over a little bit more time than Langford when he comes back from injury. I just think in that game with the Colts, I think I stick with Frank Gore. Marvin Jones or Terrell Pryor. That's a tough one. Marvin Jones, the main receiver out in Detroit. Stafford likes to find them. He really hasn't had a phenomenal year, but I think as the year goes on, he's going to get more and more targets. And Terrell Pryor, what can you say about this guy? He's a quarterback gone receiver, quality player. I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. But if push comes to shove, I'm probably going to take Marvin Jones only because he's got a better quarterback. Cleveland's quarterback situation is a mess with Cody Kessler there right now. Unless that gets better, I got to go with the veteran quarterback. I'm taking Marvin Jones. Steve from Aramingo Avenue. We always get a guy from Aramingo Avenue. It's amazing. Start one defense, Mike and Brian. Buffalo, Steelers, Oakland. If you got those 3 defenses, I'll tell you what, this is a tough problem to have. Buffalo has been coming on the last couple weeks, +5 in the last 2 games. The Steelers have been consistent. In the beginning of the year, they were a little bit shaky, but they've come on a little bit. And they're a good defense to have. And the Oakland Raiders, throw them out the window because the Oakland Raiders, they're giving up a ton of defense right now. I don't think they're going to even come on. So it's probably between Buffalo and the Steelers. And, you could take the case Steelers playing Miami this week, Buffalo with the Rams. I don't know. I think I would go with the Steelers this week, considering they're playing Miami. I think Tannehill's going to have a horrible day. So I definitely think you got to go with Tannehill. Tina from Hamilton writes in, I currently have Ryan Tannehill, sorry Tina, and Alex Smith is on the waiver wire. Should I pick him up and start Alex Smith this week? Absolutely. If Alex Smith is still out there, they're playing the Oakland Raiders this week. I just got done saying Oakland gives up a ton of points and a lot of yardage. Take Alex Smith, put Tannehill on the bench. Tannehill is struggling big time. I would take him in a second. The last question we have is Nick from Deptford. Will you ever stop throwing something in the studio for an entire week? Nick, I can proudly and honestly say, hell no. Got to throw something. Got to get some aggression out. Got to do it. So that's all the time we have for Fan Friday. Keep in mind, we got one more week on our contest. Write in if me and Brian like your question. We put it on our show. you can enter to win the Cowboys official football that was kicked by me twice at Cowboy Stadium. We have pictures to prove it. So you can get that ball if you write in and to the show, and we like your questions so much that we say, hey, let's give them the ball. So that's all the time we have. Keep an eye out. Keep subscribe to us on Twitter, the Sports Box Show, and on Facebook as well. Got a lot of good things coming up, and Brian will be back next week, and we'll go through some more hockey, I'm sure, and hopefully not a lot of Rangers talk. But in the meantime, at the Sports Box, the only opinion that matters is right here. Thanks for watching. See ya.
Don't forget to subscribe.